to Queen Liana, don't be no Benihana. She done been through lots of drama, shed the weight of 50 llama. She done work, almost dropped 200 pounds. Put in work, you can't keep this woman down.
What's up, y'all? So I'm back in the building. Check it out. So last week I went to last night I went to therapy, and remember I started off this video because I just been struggling this video series, like with getting back on track and fighting emotionally, just a lot going on. And one thing that I was telling my therapist last night, but for some reason in this season of my life, I've been struggling with getting a hold on my eating habits and feeling very defeated and discouraged, and not knowing why it's so difficult at this time. I mean, like, it's a difficult journey, period, but I'll find myself sometimes in places where, like, oh, I gain weight and I set a goal, as you guys know, and I just move forward and I'm determined, I'm diligent. But one thing that she and I were discussing was the reality of grief. And in my life recently, I've been, going through grief, a lot of pain, a lot of loss, both physical loss, like my dad passed, but then just loss of death of relationships, friendships, just certain pain that has been really permeating my heart and in my existence. And I think that I kind of have not been dealing with it, or more so just allowing the grief to be. And one thing she was saying, like, Liana, like, first of all, you cannot underestimate the power of grief. And also realizing that, like, you will grieve. And so the question is, how will it manifest itself? And, like, if you don't just allow it to just be, if you're trying to suppress it or ignore it or not, deal or allow the emotions to just be there and kind of just progress through them, then they'll manifest themselves in another way. And I think one of the ways that they have been manifesting myself is trying to find some sense of gratification or relief, per se, in, like, my moments of eating, and kind of allowing it also to kind of numb the pain and minimize some of, like, the reality of what's going on. And so what and the other thing is just allowing myself to take it a day at a time, a decision at a time. And so not beat up on myself, like, why is it so hard right now? I've overcome before, I've been, but instead just focusing on my right now. I'm also facing a set of circumstances I've never faced before. I'm dealing with pain and loss and grief in a way that I never have before. So instead of being so hard on myself, I need to just allow the grief process to take its place. Allow myself to feel the sadness. Allow myself to cry. Allow myself to just be in the spaces of life and just, keep going, because they won't take me out. But allow myself to experience it. Because if not, what's happening is they're manifesting themselves in my desire to suppress and my desire to not experience some of the pain in some of the situations, and seeking some level of relief, per se, in the moments of gratifying my flesh. And some type of sensual, whatever the experiences that I have already with my attachments and my addiction with food, compounding that with, the grief. It's not, of course, then my outlet's going to be to eat. And so I'm trying to realize that I need to just let grief take its course and not try to ignore it or make it go away. And then the other thing is be hard on myself for the fact that I'm experiencing it. And the other thing is to just take it a day at a time, a decision at a time. So it started yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to think about the next 10 pounds or the next X, Y, and Z I'm trying to lose or beat myself up for the past. I'm going to face today. And I'm going to conquer the moments and the decisions, because that's all we have anyway. Life is but a progression of moments. And so here I am, just fighting. Gearing up my mind and just fighting, and stay tuned, because I know that this too shall pass, but this is a different level of a fight that I have to engage. I don't like it, but it's where I am, and I refuse to let it take me out. So on with the journey.
Shout out to Queen Liana, don't be no Benihana. She done been through lots of drama, shed the weight of 50 llama. She done work, almost dropped 200 pounds. Put in work.